Welcome to the latest news channel. John Krull, amid tumult, Dan Coats' silence speaks. Dan Coats' silence spoke louder than anything he said. During a 30-minute luncheon speech Tuesday at the Economic Club of Indianapolis, there were two words the former director of national intelligence and Republican U.S. Senator from Indiana didn't mention: Donald and Trump. That may have been deliberate. As Coats spoke, a political firestorm raged. Democrats in the U.S. House of Representatives prepared to begin a formal impeachment inquiry into President Trump's contacts with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. A whistleblower in the intelligence community has said President Trump made alarming promises to Zelensky. Members of Congress have demanded that they see the whistleblower report. The president, up to that time, had refused to provide it, even though the law requires him to do so. If the inquiry proceeds to actual impeachment and then trial in the Senate, Trump will be only the third president in U.S. history to have been impeached. Speculation abounds that Coats, who resigned as intelligence director last month, is the whistleblower. In the question and answer session that followed his talk, Coats hinted but did not outright say that he wasn't the person at the center of the storm. He talked about the timeline of the report and expressed sympathy for the pressure the situation puts on Acting Director of National Intelligence Joe Maguire. He said that the complaint never came to him. He didn't say that he knew nothing about it. Afterward, Coats told me he wasn't doing interviews at this time. He said there would be a time to talk about these things, but now wasn't that time. He was every bit as careful during his speech, which was equal parts quiet rebuke of this president and emphatic reassurance to the nation. It was as elegant a takedown of Donald Trump as one is likely to hear. And he did it without ever mentioning the president by name. Coats began by making a joke about how tenuous his state as National Director of Intelligence had been. From there, he talked about the threats facing the United States. He said they were so varied and evolved so fast that the processes of government found it hard to keep pace. Because of this, it was essential that American leaders focus on and follow the trail of facts and build relationships of trust. Coats also emphasized how interconnected and complicated the world is. This required nations who value principles of self-government, he suggested, to work together. It is, in fact, in America's interest to facilitate that cooperation among other nations. Doing so makes the world a safer place. That's hardly an endorsement of a president who boasts about ignoring briefing reports, conducts diplomacy through bluster and threats, and argues often that America should go it alone. Later, in the Q&A, Coats deftly undercut the president once again. Someone from the audience asked if Trump's oft-promised wall along on the Mexican border was necessary. Coats took a long pause before answering. He said he'd toured the U.S.-Mexican border when he was in the Senate. He'd been told then, he said, that if the U.S. built a 20-foot-high wall, those wanting to cross the border just would use 21-foot-high ladders. He also talked about the extensive tunnel system he had seen along the border. A wall would do nothing to stop the people and drugs entering the country that way. The implication was clear. The president's preoccupation with the wall makes almost no sense. Perhaps the most powerful and moving part of Coats' talk came near the end. He told the audience our country is going through a divided and unsettled phase. He reminded the crowd, though, that we have been through difficult periods before and will get through this one. He said he had faith in our founding fathers. Faith in our Constitution. Most telling, as Congress was moving to reassert its prerogatives, Coats said he had faith in the balance of powers that defines our government. Dan Coats never chastised President Trump by name. He didn't have to. His silence said it all. John Krull is director of Franklin College's Podium School of Journalism and publisher of thestatehouseFile.com, a news website powered by Franklin College journalism students. Thanks for watching. Don't forget subscribe my channel. Leave your comment for video. Wish you a good day.
Bữa nay cả